very, very warm welcome to all of you all. And everyone, please applaud and encourage them to come for more events like this. Okay, so this is Cafe Mandala Propel. Why Cafe Mandala? All of you know that this is our flagship event. And we are very happy that this time we are going to be putting wind beneath your wings. Okay, so that is why Propel. We are hoping that the VCs are going to give you the much needed propellant. So with that, I'm just going to ask Dr. Ramji to come and introduce what this event is going to be about.
Welcome you all. As Ritika defined the program, Cafe Mandala is our knowledge sharing platform. We do often monthly once and all, but why can't we do it something very different? Because biotech space and the word biotech, sometimes people don't get much excited. Sorry to say biotech guys, but myself also into the stream. And we want to make it something sound this way, to come to this part of the city, to engage with people who are actually looking into the technologies, especially in the deep technologies. So why can't we use this Cafe Mandala platform to bring all the startups who can pitch, or even some of them not even pitching, but listening to the pitches so that they'll be ready for the next time. And of course, in front of some of the enablers, some of the angels and VCs that we have. So in that sense, the major objective of this today's event is to see some of those 10-12 pitches that we have, how best we can help. So it's not primarily to crack the deals just like Renika or other Shark Tank guys do on the spot checks. Renika's here, but otherwise, they may tell in their slides about their valuation. Don't get scared. You don't get scared. But generally, investors, they listen. But the numbers, whatever they present also, just observe and guide them, give genuine feedback and great comments from your side. And also, whatever the numbers that they mention, maybe part of the numbers can be looked exciting for you, so you can be part of the developmental activities or for the scale-up activities. Some are in the traction, some are in the commercials already. So I want you to be part of their teams, not only for tonight, but through their journey. So I hope today's event can bring much success to everyone. All the best to the investors, like VCs, angels, and enablers, and all the startups and participants. Thank you so much for being here. So I ask Dr. Madhu to say a quick two-liners before the startup speech.
Good afternoon to all of you. Thank you very much for taking time and coming to us and looking at our startups. These startups are with us for almost 6 years, some of them for 2-3 years, and have done very well. And as you know, biotech startups need definitely a kind of more trust in terms of their early journey. I'm sure you look at that in that perspective. They're not ready to go, guys. Some of them are ready to go. So it's my, I'm very proud of these cohort of startups that are presenting today, and hope they'll impress you and something good will happen, and also good advice. Thank you very much for taking time on a hot day.
Hello everyone, this is Ajay Jain from Silver Needle Ventures.
Hello, I am Udaya from Global Innovation Hub.
Hello everyone, I am Aditi from BioAngels Indian Angel Network.
Hi everyone, this is Sonisha from Bloom Ventures.
Hello everyone, I'm Kulwan and representing Temple's Law Associates.
Hey everyone, I'm Zaran and I represent Biome.
I'm Vivek Verma, I'm from Upsurge Global.
Hi, good afternoon everyone, I'm Satyanarayana Vaddi representing Finanomics Capital.
Hi everyone, this is Renuka Bodla, representing Silver Needle Ventures as a venture partner.
Hi, I'm Neeta Sachan, I'm an independent investor.
This is Sushanto from Lead Angels.
Right time now to have the startups.
A very good evening. This is Team Semantic WebTech. Myself, Asha Subramanian and Vijay Varahaswamy. We are the founders of this tech bio startup who is wanting to make a positive impact in the world of genomics and life sciences. And today we are here to present our semantic AI-enabled knowledge integration platform for genomic data analysis. We often discuss and worry about cardiac ailments, about hypertension and diabetes, but how much of attention do we give to genetic disorders? Genetic diseases create a huge burden, and actually a huge proportion of them are treatable if we are able to detect them early. India has a huge genetic disease burden, over 100 million people affected, and actually 1 in every 4 is a carrier of a genetic disorder. Process of digitizing the human DNA, the cost of that have substantially reduced, but the data diagnosis is still a massive challenge. And this is a challenge for genetic diagnostic service providers, hospitals, and researchers. So currently what they normally do is either they have a huge battalion of IT engineers or bioinformaticians, or they go in for costly commercial tools, or they tend to do it manually, which is actually hugely ineffective. Our solution is an end-to-end B2B SaaS platform that takes care of every pain of each and every target customer who are clinicians, researchers, doctors, private hospitals, labs, and genetic service providers. What they have to do is the plug and play platform. They have to feed in the data, and the output is a clinical report, which is actually post all the data crunching and analysis. The core knowledge engine is in the process of patent examination. So our platform actually uses semantic intelligence to make the algorithms do reasoning just as a human brain does by working on all this domain intensive data from several scientific databases. At the same time, simultaneously, it is building a rich knowledge base of Indian specific variants. Our platform is ready for the market. We've been able to do very successful beta rounds with multiple potential customers. We have all the security certifications in place. We have actually had collaborations with all the top genetic research institutes in India. We have validated the platform, and we have perfected the art of deploying this platform on multiple cloud platforms. Currently, we are in the process of pushing the platform into the GEM and also converting our beta adopters into paying customers. If you look at the genome, previous slide, if you look at the genome data analysis, it comprises of primary, secondary, and tertiary analysis. Our platform is actually looking at the tertiary analysis market, and that is what is our service addressable market, close to $1 billion. The SOM, which is the service obtainable market, is actually the Asia Pacific, including India market. Immediate focus is on beachhead, which is actually proving our credentials in India. We have kept our business model very simple. Free assisted 14-day trial period where we make the customers get interested on the platform and they are hooked to the platform. We have pay-as-you-go models to make them, these are for customers who have low case loads. The annual subscription models are for customers who have over 1,000 cases load. Apart from this, we also provide value-added services. The rates for our business model are very, very affordable when you compare it with global commercial models. Go-to-market strategy, initially it is going to be founder-led, which means the two of us largely working with the customers in a top-to-bottom fashion where the branding is largely done through conferences, through assisted onboarding. We actually want to give them a personalized experience on the platform. So in terms of competition landscape, we are the only India-based solutions provider who is actually working towards creating a comprehensive end-to-end solution. We are able to provide flexible deployment models at affordable costs. In terms of financials and us, you can see that our projected revenue is indicating a break-even at the 3rd year. By the 4th year, we would have done close to 11% of the beachhead and close to 2% of the SOM. This is the team. We are a perfect blend of technical leadership, of business and investment acumen and operations. Our scientific advisors are a combination of highly skilled academicians, scientists, and clinical genomic practitioners. We have been able to garner continuously funds from investment and also from government grants. And we've raised close to 1.8 crores this far to get the platform to the market ready stage. We are ready to take questions now. Thank you.
So currently, I think you're working with beta customers on a B2B basis. Do you have any revenue at this point of time, or it's only proving the concept at this point of time?
Not yet. We have not generated revenue, but the beta trials have happened. In fact, one of the customers, which is a large hospital chain, has actually indicated to us to give them the price metrics. So we're in the process of converting.
Second point is your competition. You have stated the guys who do DNA analysis, but they give you some manual report. And what is the secret sauce? Anybody can copy it. You have knowledge graphs kind of thing. So what is how difficult it is for somebody else to copy the same thing?
Well, first of all, building the platform using that secret sauce, as you said, but largely to be able to do the validations. It took us close to 2 years to get the platform validated with all those premier research institutes that you see, right? Over 150 datasets tested. The same were live patient cases, which were done manually by these institutes and then tested on our platform.
Are we covering a large spectrum here when you say, anything goes in and then it comes out, right? And what's the efficacy of such a measure, right? Because let's say if I'm doing only for cardio or something like that, I have a specific strain. But here you're saying a lot more
version of this platform. We are doing germline diseases or inherited genetic disorders. And in our next version, we'll be doing somatic cancers and also some of those new things like specifically related to pediatrics and so on. And there was a reason why we chose this, because the cancer market is heavily crowded, but the germline diseases is not.
Probably the larger market still lies with the cancer research specific analysis only. So how are we acquiring that non-Caucasian data? Because that is like the secret sauce for that.
So cancers are two types. One is genetic, that is hereditary cancers, and others are tissue-based cancer. We've already taken care of genetic cancers through this platform. Okay. So for the tissue-based cancer, there is a process you need to actually get a couple of more scientific databases integrated, and that's why that is high on the priority list. Okay. What really happens is when somebody does only tissue-based cancer, they are unable to handle the germline because the pipelines are different.
Exactly.
That's the reason why we went through the germline first.
Got it. Got it. So do you think you will have to venture into tests to get this data running for the flywheel effect?
No, because the data partnerships that we have done with these institutes, they cover the somatic tissue samples.
Got it.
Two quick questions. One is, how do you plan to acquire your customers in initial first or 2 years? Second, how do you plan to utilize the 4 crore that you're raising?
Okay. How do we plan to acquire customers? It's been a long journey, Aditi. So we've been at it for the last 1 year. We've gone to conference after conference to show them a glimpse of our platform. We have a very strong funnel of close to 150 people who have shown interest. And this was actually gathered initially through a process of primary market research. And then we were in the conferences. Then we started to engage with them. And now we are seeing the fruits of all of that, because people are now reaching out to us and saying, can you not show us a demo and how do we go further? So with every customer, the process is simple, 15 days of trial, because we really want them to get hooked onto the platform. They have to get comfortable. That's the way we are going to be doing it. The strategy to go after these customers initially will be founder-led. So we don't have a dedicated marketing team. How are we going to use the 4 crores? 3 things. One is, when we get into the market, we need to pay up market launches expenses, which are largely licenses and all of that. And then it is at this point that we have to now invest in a proper sales and marketing team. And then we want to increase some more workflows, as you know, right?
Against the data sets from the Indian subjects or Indian research based centers. If yes, like how will you position it for the global market? Because a lot of this is driven through the database that you have accumulated over years, right?
So first thing, the databases that are currently integrated into this, there are some standard 6 to 7 global databases that you have to integrate. All that has been done. So whether it is the UK, US, some of the Middle East ones, they've all been integrated. Actually, the challenge is the Indian data, because nobody has the proper Indian database yet. And that's when we had a partnership with IGIU, who have actually built a database of close to 1,012 whole genome base. So that is already integrated into this platform. And so if it actually works for Indian patients, a lot of novel cases comes up. So it is going to work with others because the global databases are already into the platform. Beyond
specific geography. If we take this platform to Canada or if we take this platform to Singapore, so the local database has to be integrated, which is a very small mediocre activity that can be done as and when we reach that particular geography.
I have one more question. What is your unit economics? I didn't see a slide on that. What's your pricing model, as well as your go-to market as well? Maybe you covered a little bit, but if you can elaborate on both of these.
Right. So if I've understood the unit economics.
So what's your pricing model? What will be your unit economics, as well as your go-to market strategy as well?
Pricing model is very simple. We have only two pricing slabs. One is pay as you go, and the other is for enterprises. We've got more than 1,000 samples processed in a year. Pay as you go model starts from 50, 100, 200 licenses. 200 processes, samples being processed in the system. So it caters to large diagnostic labs and the small and medium-sized businesses who can't afford the tech teams or the large bioinformatics teams to do that. So that's the pricing model. In terms of go-to-market, we are, as she mentioned, we are looking at direct sales for the initial few customers in the first 6 to 8 months. You can ask
the individual price per customer. So while you're doing a B2B model, I understand that, but what would be the individual price per test?
Okay. The price per test depends. It runs between 800 to 1,200 for us. So the retail price to the end customer in the enterprise range starts from 2,500 roughly, and for the pay-as-you-go customer starts higher, 3,500 plus. An average on based on what they buy.
Thank you. Any question from the jury?
See, when you said pay as you go, around 4 to 5 lakh, I didn't understand about that. Is it for a diagnostic center or on a retail basis?
When people subscribe, let's say there is a lab who does only 150 tests in a year. If they want to subscribe to the system, I cannot tell them go pay me for the enterprise license. So I am allowing them to buy bulk of 1,500 units.
Okay.
And then they pay for it. So when they exhaust that 100 unit, they may just know that, okay, this year I'm not going to be doing more than 50. They can come back and buy a 50.
So is it like a subscription model for the diagnostic centers?
It's a subscription, complete subscription.
Okay. Right. Thank you.
Please come. Yeah.
So one of the investors couldn't join early, so they'll be joining in half an hour. They would like to hear. We already shared the startup list, so they requested this change. Suresh, you have a time limit of 5 minutes.
Sure. Yeah. Good evening, all. Really honored to be here. My name is Suresh, and I'm one of the founders of this company called Startoon Labs Private Limited, a medtech company based out of Hyderabad. Okay, so we are addressing a very big problem that's there in the world, which is more of a joint health or a movement health problem. So almost 80% of the adult population in the world is suffering from musculoskeletal pains, which are like shoulder pain, back pain, joint pains, etc. And almost 1.5 billion people on this planet are suffering from neurological ailments like stroke, spinal cord injury, or trauma. So all these people have to undergo something called as physiotherapy, which is all about exercises. One thing which I wanted to share here is, though we feel that cardiovascular diseases and cancer is one of the biggest spend in the world, it's rather musculoskeletal ailments which has crossed $100 billion. So this is an alarming problem, and ways of assessing the root cause of this problem and addressing that is lacking. So we have come up with a solution called as Fizi. It's a wearable device, one of its kind in the world. It is backed by 2 granted patents and it's also US FDA approved. So what this device does is, it can be used to assess the physiological aspects of all the major joints in the human body: the shoulder, elbow, wrist, hip, knee, and the ankle, and the back, and the neck. These are the main joints that suffer from a lot of pains, especially employees, corporate wellness programs, etc. They address a lot of diagnostics, which is into master health checkup, but joint has always been neglected. So we are one of the pioneers in this. We have our copyrighted algorithms, trademarks, patents, IP, etc. in place. And with this device, we are literally first in the world to have created a picture, a physiological picture of the joint, and we can identify within 8 to 10 minutes what is the root cause of the joint when it is related to muscles. Next one, please. So yeah, so we use surface EMG, we use the range of motion, and the best part is there's one more thing which I want to share, whether it's a neurological ailment or an orthopedic ailment or a musculoskeletal ailment. All of these people have to undergo physiotherapy, and unfortunately, there is no reporting mechanism in physiotherapy yet. For example, in cardiology, we have ECG as a standard way to show the picture of the heart. In orthopedics, we have X-ray as the basic picture to show the the level of ailment that the bone has suffered. In physiotherapy, there is nothing. So we are literally definitely first in the country and definitely foremost in the world to have designed a well-researched report, which is now the basic report which helps you understand the health of the joint, and these reports are shared with the neurosurgeons, orthopedic surgeons for the treatment decisions. Yeah, please. So what the flow is very simple. The patient basically undergoes a Feezy test, which goes for around 8 to 10 minutes, and then he or she is given a treatment protocol where they do it either in a clinic or at home. And then after the session, one of the reports are generated and the status is also given to the patient. Next, please. So this is I already spoken about. So almost 3.5 billion people in this world are suffering with the kind of problems that I'm talking about, and it's a multi-billion-dollar market. The elder care, which I have not yet specified, is also about joint health. So people fall. So a lot of use cases are coming up in US where fall prevention sensors are coming up, and insurance players are actually playing a big role. So yeah. So we have some good names like Healthcare at Home, KIMS, MIMS, Pratima, Uchwas. Please go ahead. So we are raising a bridge round of around 4 crores, of which 2 is secured. So I'm here to ask for this growth capital, which is, we are an early traction company. We are in the market for 1.5 years. We have a presence in 12 states with 100 plus units as our customers already so 2 crores is done. I'm open for investments from 24 lakhs to 2 crores from this event. Most of it will be going for marketing, scaling. It's a growth capital that I'm requiring for to drive towards Series A round. Yeah, so myself, I am Suresh. I am an engineer, alumnus of IIT Madras. I am Calcutta, supported by my wife, Maitri, alumnus of IIT Madras. I am Ahmedabad, and I have some really good partners. I am supported by AICC, CMB, IKP Knowledge Park, Cognify as institutional investors, and many more angels in my company. Please. Thank you very much. I am open to any questions, please.
I'm a physiotherapist, probably you'll be selling to me, and you do not prescribe any new wearable technology. It's the existing technology, but probably with a refined protocol for the patient, is it?
You're not interfering with treatment protocols. So for a physiotherapist, I sell the device. For corporate wellness, for diagnostics, we are not interfering in the protocol. So when a patient comes to a diagnostic center with a joint pain, the device is used to understand what is the cause. That can be treated by medication. It will happen. If they have to be sent to an orthopedic surgeon, we do that. So we have the service providers whom we partner with. They give so we are an end-to-end solution, but a technology platform. So we have contract manufacturers with tight agreements in place. Everything is done in Hyderabad. Yes. Except for the silicon components which we import.
So what is the unit economics? What is the cost of this?
So to build a device, it takes around 18 to 20,000 rupees, and I have a margin of around 3x in that. So 75,400 is the basic version.
Sir, major clients will be
the premium one. Sorry, sir. The premium one has some outsourced parts like the tablet printer, which we are not building. So there the margins are a bit less, but for a basic version, we have 3x.
So what kind of revenue do you share with the contract manufacturers? Is it like
we don't share any revenue. No, we don't share any revenue.
You outsource them to manufacture.
Sorry?
You outsource?
Yes. Yeah. So, for example, for placing the electronic components on the PCB, specific robots are required. I am not invested in those robots. I get them done, I bring it to my company. Entire programming, testing, packaging, calibration, etc. happens in our company, and from there it is shipped.
And you have a patent for this?
We have 2 patents granted already. Yes. One is a tech patent, other is a complete patent which includes the algorithms and the intelligence, the product design. Both of them are granted, sir.
So what is your ask right now?
Ask is anywhere between 25 to 2 crores, 25 lakhs to 2 crores.
With a valuation of 15 million USD.
15 million. Right now I'm raising a CCPS round as a bridge capital towards Series A. So CCPS has a floor of 15 million.
Thank you.
I'd like to understand a little bit more about the patents you talked about, because
similar devices do exist. Range of motion,
Okay.
creating reports for a physiotherapist are there.
Okay.
Like Southeast Asia has a few, Europe has a few.
Yeah, sure.
So I just like to understand, number one, using range of motion, what are the use cases specifically that you're targeting? You said you have some customers.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit more about that. And then actually let's just focus on that, please.
So our device is very unique in one way. Range of motion is one of the features of our product. There are some companies who give range of motion. I completely agree with you. But one thing I want to share with you, sir, a movement of any joint is not independent of the physiological activity of the muscles. Most of the companies, I have very few competitors in the world. I have in the other parts of the country, not here. But the USP of our product is the way they are looking at the joint is only on the outcome, the mobility. Okay, they are not looking into the physiological aspects, which is an incomplete way of looking at joint health. Because unless my muscle contracts, my wrist will not flex. One more thing I want to share with you, sir. It may look like a wrist flexion, but there are two important muscles here. I don't want to, in the interest of time, but there are two muscles which we call as complementing and compensating each other in neurology. So even if one of the muscles contracts, you will see a wrist flexion. So for my competitors, if they show a wrist flexion, they don't tell what is the health of the muscle. And if both the muscles don't work well, I will never achieve complete recovery. So in our case, we have myopotential sensors also with our own algorithms. So we correlate the movement along with the muscle activity, and then we talk about the health of that. So this is a huge, IP that we have. And there is no similar thing because there's a lot of mathematics and database involved, research involved to come at this conclusion. So with this, now we can do something which my competitors have not done. For example, consistency in the movement, controlled movement in a stroke case. See, our hand can move like this in a stroke case. So there the muscle and the range of motion has to be correlated and analyzed, not just seen. So we are very good in that, and that sets us apart from others who say that I can measure the range of motion.
Thanks. Renuka, please.
Okay.
Part of my question is kind of answered. Like I was trying to understand what is the productivity, a physiotherapist would get out of, this tool, because it's kind of taking away from the job that the person has to do it, right? I mean,
No. We are not taking away anybody's job.
How is it complementing? That's something it's not clear.
No, I'm sorry. We are not taking away anybody's job. Rather, ma'am, for example, it's an aid. What we have built is more like a aid to a therapist.
True,
like
but what's the productivity that they're gaining out of it?
Yes, I'm
and
coming
what
to
kind
that.
of customers do you have right now?
Yes. So I wanted to clarify that it's an aid. We are not throwing them away. That's one thing. Coming to what is the value addition. In physiotherapy, ma'am, most of the things, when a patient comes to a center, the entire diagnosis happens with visual assessment. Okay, based on the skill of the physiotherapist, experience of the therapist. Unlike other sectors in healthcare, where if I go to a cardiology department, first thing they will do is take an ECG. Similarly, for an orthopedics, with a broken bone, they'll say what is the degree of level of broken bone, right? So there's always a machine, a basic instrument which tells what is the ailment. In physiotherapy, for all the sectors, ortho, neuro, cardio, they all come to physiotherapy, but there's no objective or a scientific evidence or quantitative. Our device gives that quantitative evidence, which tells, as I explained in my, which muscle. Because it may look like that, okay? So that's one advantage which helps them in taking good clinical decisions. Second, that's from the clinical front. When we give reports, that also tells the patient rather than telling verbally. It's like, if I go to a general practitioner, I have fever, doctor says you have medium fever. What does it mean? But when they say you have 101 degree Fahrenheit, I understand this is the thing. So that's the kind of black and white picture we give to the patient. The second thing from the business front, so one is a clinical aspect where things are very clear. Our reports are being monetized by my customers. So it's a revenue generation tool for them.
You mentioned that it's an enhancer or like sort of like an add-on for the existing physiotherapist.
Yes, ma'am.
You might want to add, like just for the clinical or like your pitches, what's the time saving by the physiotherapist in using your device, or whether there's a, like, while it may take like 20 days or like a month, and you are reducing by using your tools, you're reducing the timelines to just 20 days.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Very, very true. Efficacy of treatment has improved. Yeah, sure. efficacy has improved. The reduction in timing is almost by, I think, 40%. 40%. So something which goes for 20 days might now happen. Okay, yeah, sure.
So one last question from the audience, I think.
Nice presentation, by the way. I work in the medical device industry.
Okay.
So is this like MDR compliant?
Sorry?
The new medical device regulation compliant?
Yeah. We are a registered medical device with CDSCO, Government of India, and we are compliant. We have done EMI, EMC, and biocompatibility, and all these are required for USFDA application. Yeah, we are USFDA.
What is your current revenue for FY 23-24?
We crossed around 40 lakhs. Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Suresh.
Thank you.
So next one is 30 mg.
Good evening, everyone. You all know that India is a highly populated country in the world. 1 in 7 Indians suffers from coronary artery diseases, which is basically heart diseases. And almost among the total death in India, 26.6% death is because of these heart diseases. And when a patient suddenly gets a heart attack, the first line drug or the emergency drug which is being given to the patients are aspirin, heparin and clopidogrel. And most of these drugs works basically based on the patient's DNA. For example, 30% Indians, they don't respond to clopidogrel, which is commonly used antiplatelet drug. 30% Indians won't respond to that. And if your patient takes clopidogrel without knowing that he is a responder or a non-responder, it may lead to severe side effects like bleeding, and even sometimes it may lead to death also. It will also triples the treatment cost and also increases the hospital stay. So, FDA gave a very clear-cut warning. It's a black box warning saying that if your patient have to take clopidogrel, they have to undergo genetic testing before taking the drug so that the clinician will know it. But the currently available technologies are not affordable for anyone to take that genetic testing, and it will take minimum 7 to 10 days to get the result. So there is a need for a faster technology to give the results very quickly so that the clinician can do it in emergency cases. Next. So to address this challenge, we have developed a technology, an on-spot testing technology that will assist the clinicians to personalize the medication for the patient. And our technology is accessible because it's totally portable and give the results in just 90 minutes. And also it's too affordable. Next slide. So when you see Indian market for coronary artery diseases, it's too huge. 1.96 crore patients are suffering from coronary artery diseases, and if these patients are taking genetic testing, it will give you a total market of $2.94 billion. And 55% of Indians visit private hospitals for this emergency condition, and 54% of Indian doctors are already aware of this personalized medicine testing. So that will give you a total, serviceable available market of $875 million. And currently we have a capacity of making 25 lakh tests per year, which will give us an obtainable market of $38 million. Next one. So this is our technology. We call it a Smart PGX, which is highly portable. And you can see the portable instrument there. So it can be placed anywhere, and it will give the personalized medicine testing in just 5 steps. And it will give the result in 90 minutes from sample collection to the result. Next slide. So our business model is very simple. We are completely B2B. We sell the hardware and also we sell the consumables. We sell the hardware, it's a one-time purchase with a 78% margin, and our consumables has 80% margin. Next slide, please. So we have already done pre-launch installations in 8 clinics around India. So we got very good customer feedback, and we got a feedback in the usability of the instrument. So we have modified our current version based on the customer feedback. And as individual components, we have sold our consumables and the instruments to premium institutes like CCMB, IGIB, IIC Bangalore. Next slide. So we will enter into the market mainly by popularizing our technology through medical events like conferences and exhibitions, and by directly visiting the clinics and hospitals, and also by partnering with distributors, medical distributors and marketing agencies. So we are different from our competitors in terms especially affordability and on-spot testing. So that no one in India have on-spot testing for personalized medicine, and that's our moat. And also we are the first to the market. We have patentable technologies, and our technology is very simple to use. Anyone can use it. No need of any technical expertise required. Like a glucometer, you can do a genetic testing. And main thing is you need not to purchase anything additionally. Next slide. So this is us, myself, Dr. Das. I have 15 years of experience in project management and also in personalized medicine. I did my PhD from JIPMER Pondicherry. I am taking care of customer acquisition and administration in the company. And my co-founder Pavani, she is taking care of R&D and she have experience in genetic assay development. She is trained from CCMB Hyderabad. So we have raised 1.5 CR so far from different government grants and private investments from Amey Mashalkar and Arya Mashalkar. So this is our roadmap for the next 5 years. So by this year, we are completing our patent filed and the regulatory clearances done, and we will enter into the market. By 2027, we are expecting to break even, and by 2029, we will be reaching out to the global market. Next slide. So right now, our ask is $120K for the next 6 months for getting our patents and regulatory clearances done. And apart from the financial support, we expect mentoring support mainly. So thank you so much.
So let's assume the doctor is following a course and let's say 100 patients do the test.
Yes.
What will be the effective change? How many would he change the approach?
Yes.
And I'm assuming there's a pharmaceutical industry which is sitting, but I'll not talk about that.
So I will give you clopidogrel as the best example because that has the FDA warning also. So they have done several randomized controlled trials all over the world, and they have found that if your person is having a particular genetic variation and if clopidogrel is given, 80% of the patients have recurrent heart attacks. 80% of the patients. Within that, the first 3 months of first attack.
But still, let's take a sample of 100 patients, right? How many do you think the doctor will change the approach?
Yes, I would say based on if they are going with the genetic data, it will be 30%. Because 30% of our Indians have this genetic variations.
Wow. Yes. Okay, great. One advice, since you asked for advice, start selling, don't sell the hardware at all.
Yeah.
Right? Just sell the tests.
Yeah.
Give the hardware for free.
Yes, sir. So that's our model. We are planning for a racer model actually. Yes.
What's the accuracy or what's the this thing that you have achieved so far?
Yes. So it's a 99% accuracy because the main thing what we are doing is we are not checking for any markers based on our knowledge. We are doing only FDA approved markers. So the markers are already approved. So we are taking that so that we are getting 99% accuracy.
And what sample size is that?
8 clinics.
8 clinics.
Yes.
So about 1,000 samples roughly.
Yes.
Is there any such high demand for this?
Yes. So the main thing is we initially put up this platform for a different purpose, especially for checking for hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, which is a genetic disease which is increasing very highly. When we gave this for hypertrophic cardiomyopathy to the clinicians, they have asked for clopidogrel. So we have developed this whole technology based on the request from the clinicians. So they are facing this issue, especially for clopidogrel, aspirin and statin. Because it is given to not only for heart diseases, even diabetic patients are taking that. So normally 75 mg, but in case of acute coronary disease and also PCI, it is 300 mg. That's too high dosage. So they are asking for it. So that's the reason we have developed and we are getting good feedback from the clinicians.
So is there any demand supply gap?
Yes, the main problem here is in case of emergency, suppose a person got heart attack. Usually how it happens right now is they have to collect the sample, they have to send the sample to a centralized lab. For example, if I want to get it done from Kanyakumari, in Kanyakumari there is no genetic lab is available. I have to send it to Chennai. So I have to transport the sample from Kanyakumari to Chennai, which will take at least 1 day. Again, the samples will be processed. Only when they get enough samples, they will start processing. So the overall time is increasing. When a patient is having heart attack, within 3 hours, they have to give clopidogrel. They cannot wait for given 2 days. So if they have this setup, portable setup in their clinic, they can get it done in 90 minutes and they can start the procedure.
So my last question, what is the cost of the device and what is the cost of the report?
Yes. So right now, our MRP for our device is 99,000. And as I was mentioning, we are planning for a racer model and consumables is we are giving it as a kit of 50 samples. So with a kit, you can do 50 samples and it is $650. So that will be around 47,000.
One question I have, as was alluded earlier, that how do you anticipate to fight the pharma lobby?
I will not say
from a long-term perspective, because you'll see a lot of resistance from them.
Yes. So I will not say I will fight with the pharma, because nowadays pharma company itself, they are changing their approach. They are developing drugs based on the mutation, especially in oncology. They are developing for KRAS specific drugs. Even the government is insisting on such kind of drugs. Yes, definitely. Yes. So we have got the same approach. Initially we started with minoxidil drug. Before clopidogrel, we started with minoxidil, which is used for hair loss. So we were approached by pharma companies which is making minoxidil. So they want to provide this test free of cost to the patients, so that they will not go to the opposite party. So they are taking it in a different way, because FDA itself, they had given the warning, so they are taking it in that way. And even some pharma companies, they are start making the alternate drugs also. Because in case of clopidogrel, the alternate drug is prasugrel, ticagrelor, and all available.
I'm Aditi from Bryota. We are a point of care technology company trying to screen 300 million by 2030. What are we doing? We are trying to reduce burden on government of India. And how? With this. What is this? Let me talk about NCDs. You all are aware what is NCDs. The non-communicable diseases in India is rampant. They are the silent killers. What are we trying to do? We are trying to do the early screening, which will help government of India and other CSR companies and the private sector to understand where is the prevalence, how we can curb it, and how we can work on it. Each year, almost 41 million people die of NCDs because that was not understood in time. They came to the doctors, they came to the primary healthcare centers when they were in stage 3. In India, due to the technology and due to the other constraints, primary healthcare centers can only give you a diagnosis of probably a diabetes, blood pressure, or anemia. What about the cancer? What about the CRDs? We come here with a solution which involves CKD, CRD, common cancers, and other NCDs which are prevalent across masses. What is the reason why we are not able to screen the NCDs at primary healthcare? Because of the less of technology, the community are generally the lower economy people. They depend on the tertiary level hospitals to go, and going to tertiary level healthcare involves time, cost, and money. Solution? Bryota comes to you with a great solution called Suraksha. Everybody knows what is the meaning of Suraksha. We are giving you a kit which involves different NCD screening devices which are made in India, and we do screening for CRDs like COPD, post-TB, COVID, also including common cancers for women like cervical, breast, also oral, and then we have few devices from market which includes the total NCD umbrella which can be screened at any given PHCs. We have our own CDSS system called SAVE. SAVE gives you a total data analysis on one touch with the required inputs. Also, we would like to tell you that we are all CDSC approved company. We have apps made in the regional languages. The whole system is made where ASHA or ANM carries that bag all to the PHC levels, do their screening and come back with the data. So government gets a reduction in the whole burden which you are going through about the whole healthcare system. Meet the team. I am in front of you. I am Aditi. I am the CEO. The founder Gajanan Sakhre, he is a serial entrepreneur. Our CTO Shardul, he has a background of working in many other healthcare startups. Also, we have some international Denmark and US people who are joined us in the journey. For the scientific advisory board, we have doctors as we need them coming from a health tech, as a health tech company, and we have somebody working in abroad also in European sector. The market is huge. I really would not like to say the gravity of the market. I would really not like to say these are the numbers which we talk about in the market. But I would really like to mention here something very, very serious is if we help the government do the diagnosis at the right time, there is a big economy which will get affected, and we can see a good growth and good, you can see after effect for giving this kind of help to government. As you can see, looking for 1 million to 2 million. The concept asking you this kind of money is very clear. We want to ramp up. We want to make these kits more so we can grow across India. We are getting inquiries from Africa and Europe as well. Of course, for Europe, we need regulatory, and regulatory costs a lot of money for a startup, which includes CE, FDA, and that is the reason we are asking you for this kind of money in investment. So this is me again, Aditi from Bryota, and I'm open for your questions.
What kind of test does it do at the end of the day? What are the, it's a BP or is it sugar? What does it do on a base level?
We have a kit which includes cancer, CVD, CRD, and FLD. So let me put it in a simple way. We talk about diabetes, we talk about BP, which is common. But we give you common chronic respiratory diseases, which called COPD, asthma, post-TB, and post-COVID. We talk about common cancers in women and in men, which talks about oral cancer in women, breast and cervical cancer. And also we have CKD, that is chronic kidney disease, which are simple solutions which can be used by using the urine samples. And we have NAFLD, that is a liver. That is again a small kit, and we help ASHA and A&M to gather this data, which can be pushed to the district level hospitals.
And does it do some kind of a blood test?
Sorry?
Does it take blood from you? Do you take blood sample is required?
All these are non-invasive. We are talking about all non-invasive devices, sir.
Okay, thank you. What is the test?
So your customers are government.
B2G, and there are some private customers as well for CSR. Government, yes. Right now we are working in Maharashtra, Karnataka, Chhattisgarh, Tamil Nadu, and Gujarat.
What is the cost per test? Price per test?
No, we go as a service model, sir. We are also selling per kit. We are on the e-government portal as well. But it depends which government needs what kind of services. So the kit is involving that kind of services. Some people have their own. We have an ECG machine, a portable ECG machine, which I can show you. It is such a small device which can be used with the app, and there is a belt which we put. So some people already have ECG, they don't want that. So we give as per the requirement.
2 quick questions.
Yeah.
The devices / the assays that are part of your kit, are all those invented by Bryota, or you've partnered with other?
Nice, good question. So Bryota started with CRD in 2018. We spoke about only and only respiratory. I think 2 or 3 investors has heard me about respiratory in this club. But when government started getting involved, we got a request that we should have something under one umbrella under NCD. So we have a portfolio device called Spiro Pro, which is made technology everything by Bryota, and the ECG machine along with the help of BARC. Other devices have been collaborated with us. So right now we are giving all the certified devices which are made in India, which 2 or 3 are from Bryota and other from the collaboration from the other startups.
Okay. Second question, what is your business model?
Sorry?
Your business model.
So business model is we are doing project, okay, with government at our PHC level sector. So right now my team is working in Chhattisgarh. We are doing a 1-month camp using our devices. We train the A&M and ASHA. See, the whole concept is we are empowering A&M and ASHA in such a way that what is the scenario in PHC? All the lower economy sector or the village sector or the PHC sector are very much close to ASHA and A&M. They are like their family doctor. कुछ भी हो जाए वो आशा को पकड़ के लेके आते हैं, A&M को पकड़ के ले आते हैं. Our whole healthcare system depend on ASHA and A&M. We are empowering ASHA and A&M to make sure that they are giving the point of care technology at that particular level, which bring them out to district level hospital, which will help the government in the end. So there is the burden reduces if you do it at the right time.
Got it. Just one suggestion.
Aditi. So last time we made around 45 lakhs, and this year we are expecting double the.
It's okay, I'll tell. Aditi, it would be good if you could also highlight the accuracy of all your devices which are part of your kit.
Correct.
On your pitch deck, and also the patent status of individual. Also the patent status of
the devices made by Bryota, which are CRD based, that is chronic respiratory disease. Spiro Pro, that is patented. Our solution is also patented. And other devices includes a Breast Pro, which is a light device which is showing the breast alimony. We have something for cervical. we have for oral, we have ECG, we have CRD. CRD takes care of 4 elements in the, the whole. So basically we are covering thoracic, we are covering the cervical, and we are covering oral.
So
And
that's the suggestion to keep in your deck, so that accuracy things as well as patent details, because most of the deep tech things, they rely on the, thanks. One more question then.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
What is your implementation strategy? Because the reason you're getting into this space is the lack of medical, talented medical, practitioners in the low or like in the village or remote setting, right? But now you're talking about these devices, technology, even that needs a technical expertise in those setups.
Yeah.
How are you going to address that gap again?
So, ma'am, it's really valid when it comes to a startup, how to roll these many devices in the market and how to make sure that they're all getting used properly with the technology training. So what we're doing is the devices which are made by Bryota, manufactured by Bryota, and 2-3 more devices, we do training for A&M and ASHA ourselves with a doctor on board. So we have for every, for cancer, we have doctors, for CRD, we have doctors, and the whole training system or the training material is developed along with them. So we generally go and train the ASHAs and the A&Ms. If required, we supply a team from our side to do the testing as well. If it is like 1 month camp, and if they want to use it for long, then we do a training and we come back. We do a hand holding, and yes, we do a lot of hand holding after the sale as well. So if they need anything from our side on the data portion, we keep helping them.
I think your overall presentation talks about PHCs, primary healthcare centers. So what kind of margins do you deliver here?
So right now, we are not looking forward for a margin as such. We are looking forward for selling of the kit right now. And we have got good, feedback.
So how do you make revenue? So because you need to return back to your investors, right? Maybe 3 years, 5 years down the line.
See, the thing is, sir, to be very particular, when I came last time in front of investors, I had only one product. So I could not explain them why you need to invest in me, because I had only one product about CRD, that is chronic respiratory diseases. Now I am asking you to help me out, because I need to spread this whole kit concept across India, which will eventually help the whole health system. So I am not giving you solution only for lungs. I am giving you solution for all the NCDs, and NCD being the biggest problem for NHM to resolve when it comes to the whole burden on the government. So before I conclude, I would like to tell you that there is a hospital in Mumbai called Sion Hospital. And if you go to the respiratory ICU, okay, Sion Hospital is a government hospital. There is no money taken from, people. The respiratory ICU is full, there are no bed allowed, and the patients are not moving out from there for 6 months together, because medically they are not capable of going home back. And there is a burden which is increasing on that hospital. I'm talking about only one hospital like this in Mumbai. And imagine we are talking about the biggest country in the world with considering the population. So this is the whole concept we are coming up with. Government is helping us. There are private players who are also, coming into the picture when it comes to a CSR. For CSR, we do the service model with them.
So, hi everyone, dream big, dream crazy, and I am Ranjit, co-founder of Biodimension. So, we are a tissue engineering company with a vision to become an organ manufacturer. And this particular vision was carried forward by 3 visionary co-founders. And we have combined industry experience of 50 plus in the industry, and we worked with companies like Syngene, Anthem, Intas, and USV. And we are a team of 10 located at Bangalore, and we embarked when developing reconstructed human tissue models as an efficient non-animal testing and human relevant testing platform for drugs and cosmetics. So with this team and with this skill, we are focusing on 3 major problems that are existing in the industry. The first one is the drug failure rate. So whatever the drugs that shown a promising effect in animal studies, that is not showing good in the clinical studies. So that cost millions of dollars and years of time for the companies. And the second most thing is the recent regulations, starting from FDA Modernization Act and even the recent CDSCO regulations are encompassing the companies to form the non-animal alternatives and also to provide a better human relevant data to get a more success rate in the clinical and as well as the disease efficacy. And the third most thing is like we need a technology to create an organs in the lab. So this can be possible with developing the reconstructed tissues in the lab. So for all these three problems, we have a solution like developing the tissues in the lab or organs in the lab. So at the initial stage, like we have achieved developing the first layer of the skin, which is epidermis, and the full thickness skin. And we also have this vaginal epithelial tissue. And we, along with the collaboration, we also developed a beating heart tissue model. So this would serve as an efficient platform to screen the drugs and cosmetics for its efficacy and also for its safety. So what is the market size? The market is not that crowded, and there are very less players in the market, and most importantly, that is they are not from India. So if you look at the total available market, it is 10.5 billion. That is only for in vitro toxicology only. So the markets for our tissue models are drug screening, cosmetic testing, even on the regenerative medicine purpose. So as I mentioned, the demand is not equal to the supply. There are very less players in this particular technology contributing to the requirements of pharma companies and the cosmetic companies. And we are competing with two major companies. One is Episkin and Matek. And Episkin is a France-based company, which is a subsidiary of L'Oreal, and Matek is a US-based company. So there is so far no Indian companies supplying the human tissues for the drug screening and the drug testing purpose. And we are also competing with the parallel technologies like organ-on-chip, organoids, and even bioprinting companies. Yeah. But when it comes to our USB, like all our tissue models are 30% less, and also like we are providing the tissues in a very lesser time compared to the Episkin and Matek. And yeah, when it comes to our journey, we started in January 2021, and we were incubated at VIT TBI. And now we have a presence at Bangalore with a small R&D facility, which would support the development of tissues and also the manufacturing. So now we are at 10, and now we focus mainly on commercializing the skin models and developing the new tissue variants like heart tissue model and liver model for multitude of application, starting from cardiac toxicity to hepatotoxicity. So till 2024, like till now, like we have achieved around we have developed the product skin and its variants, and we have secured grants worth of 75 lakhs, and also like we have a small facility to do that. And most importantly, we have 25 companies in our sales pipeline. So with this current fundraising, like we will be establishing a GLP-like facility for tissue manufacturing and also providing the testing services. And most importantly, we want to achieve a revenue target of 3 crore per year. And this is the sales overview we have. Like September 2023 is where like we started commercializing our skin models. So from September 2023 to March 2024, like we have achieved 20 lakhs. And most importantly, like 20 plus brands shown interest in testing on our tissue models. In the case of cosmetics,
30 seconds.
Yes. In the cosmetic side, and when it comes to drug, like 6 plus companies shown interested in developing the custom tissue models for their drug discovery process. Yeah. So currently we are raising 8 crore, and this would facilitate the establishment of a facility and also taking the skin model for the global market with necessary approvals. And most importantly, that the fundraise would support the expansion of the team and boost up the R&D. So what would be the exit strategy? If you invest in this particular technology, invest in biodimension. If you look at the recent happening in this space, Novo Nordisk invested around $650 million in a relevant technology called Aspect Biosystems to develop tissues for regenerative medicine. So this particular area is blooming, and also the acquisitions are happening. So investing in this technology definitely brings a great value. And we are more committed to futuristic and more human. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
What is, you said there's no other company in India right now. What is the biggest challenge in adoption of this technology?
Yes, the one biggest challenge which they are facing is like in the R&D side. So this uniform architecture is what stopping the companies to market their products, and this we achieved with our unique process. And there are companies which is working on developing the corneal tissues, and also there are several companies working on organoids. But when it comes to the skin and the complicated models like hard tissue models, as of now, there is no company in the market because, yeah.
Okay, like, and Anthem is, I would say, also in a competitive space, right? Like, wouldn't they be able to develop this? And because they are a CRO themselves,
right?
So,
right.
do you not think that they can develop this technology if had it been that the market is already there? So, I would expect Anthem to already be in this space.
Right. So, last month only we had a conversation with Anthem's management team. So, they are actually looking to develop this kind of tissue models, and they initiated a conversation with us. So, they are also interested in upscaling this particular technology for their services as well. So, they are actually interested, and they are also facing certain challenges, and they are in touch with us to see how we can work together.
Hi, I feel the timing wise this is good because pharma companies are going away from animal trials, etc. Right? And this is a very good sustainable option. So when I look at your competition, you said that you're more affordable compared to the others like Mattel and Epstein and all that. Right. I mean, is it because this is locally made, or is this, how are you beating that, your competition from the price point?
Wonderful. So, ma'am, if you look at like the price got reduced because of the process we are adapting. So, Mattek and Episkin process is different and our process is different. And for that particular process, like we are going to file the patent. So, because of that particular process, we are eliminating whatever the cost that, adding the cost. Example, the serum and also the media cost and even the consumables cost, like, whatever it is adding up the cost, like we are eliminating with our own indigenous materials. So, in that way, like we are reducing the cost.
Hi. So, in your competition slide, you mentioned Revivo Biosystems, right? So, there are those organ on a chip guys.
Right.
So, two things I'd like to understand. The first is, just clearly explain to us how you are not organ on a chip and how you're different because they're indirect according.
Sure.
So, just like to understand the solution a little bit better.
Yeah.
The second is, Revivo's journey and most organ on a chip journeys are a lot more extended than what I'm hearing here, right? So, how are you faster to market? Because it looks like you're commercializing fully next year, right?
Right.
So could you just give us
already have commercialized.
So you're already fully So how is it that you're so much faster and how is it that you're different?
Yeah, sure. So Revivo Biosystems, like actually they approached us for their chips, like they required tissues, like they wanted our support. But unfortunately at that time, like we couldn't be able to collaborate with them. So when it comes to the comparison of these two products, like our Biodimensions and Revivo, so Revivo, like the high throughput screening is not possible. But when it comes to our tissue model, high throughput screening is possible. And most importantly, like the cost per test. So that is higher in case of Revivo. But if you look at our tissue models, like they can do that test in a less than 10x times. So in that way, it is better than that Revivo Biosystems. And most importantly, whatever the endpoints they are saying, like they can do with that machine, we can do that with our own tissue models. So in a way, like the cost wise we are different and more accessibility and more holistically, like we are different from the particular Revivo systems.
So I want you to look at your business model. Right. I think you're looking at drug discovery, like looking at drug testing, early stage drug testing for novel drugs, right?
Right.
You're not looking at API manufacturers, which is the majority of the pharma companies in the country.
Right.
You're targeting a small slice of pharma, which is the CRO sector, right? Is that right? So it's you can correct me if I'm wrong.
Sure.
So now in the pharma sector itself, how many of these the CROs are testing for these drugs? So you want to relook at your model itself.
Right.
Just a suggestion.
Sure, ma'am. So when it comes to a business model, like one is a tissue as a product we are giving. So the tissue as a product goes majorly in the cosmetic company, and another model is like tissue as a service. So I would like to bring one case study. There is one vaccine manufacturer based out of Ahmedabad. So they are the largest vaccine company. So they have approached us for developing tissue models for their drug discovery process, but in a more customized way. So in that way, like the different segment of the industry is looking for more customized way of tissues for their drug discovery programs. So as you mentioned, API, even the chemical companies can be our customer, but only thing is like we need to suit their requirements with little modification and alterations. Yeah.
It's mostly covered. So Just wanted to understand the exact IP in your process. How is it supporting high throughput screening? How is it cost effective? What exactly is the IP?
Right. So when it comes to this particular reconstructed tissue model, like there are major cost factors like the serum and the media which we are using, and the third most is like consumables like the plates and other things. So what we done is like majority of the companies, what they do is like they build a scaffold and then they develop the tissue, but ours is scaffold free tissue. So in that way, like, we are eliminating majority of the time and majority of the consumables in the process.
Got it. So just a disclaimer, we are also investors into a company that's creating an artificial liver outside your body. So it's a bioengineered liver. Probably we can talk about some synergies.
Yeah, sure. So thank you.
So what's the pricing model? How do you actually price your tissues?
So when it comes to tissue as a product, now when we compared with Episkin, like they are giving it for 1,45,000 along with other consumables. So, but when it comes to ours, like we can able to, we are giving it in 88,000 plus other consumable cost. So if you look at the profit margin for this particular thing, it is more than 60%. More than 60%.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
So I'm Dr. Preeti Nigam Joshi. I'm founder of Fast Sense Innovations. So before starting and delve into the company journey, I would just like to present a scenario in front of you, because we all know that 60% of Indian population is out of any healthcare net. But we believe that healthcare shouldn't be shouldn't be only for the privileged one. It should be a right for all. And this is the vision that is driving Fast Sense Innovations. The genesis of the company actually started, I was scientist in NCL, that is a CSR lab. And then I lost my mom due to pancreatic cancer due to late diagnosis. That was the turning point of my life when I decided that instead of ending my research into just publishing papers, I should work for the people. And then we established the company with the mission of bringing affordable, accessible healthcare for all and making healthcare you can say very awesome or easy to use for everyone, so that a PSC worker or ASHA worker in the remotest area in the country can run the test. So we want to make the diagnostic very easy to perform. And today I would like to present my point of care platform with our first use case, sepsis and AMR in front of you. Now this is a very small device, or you can see the platform that we have developed. Yeah. So this is a you can say this is a glucometer of complex. You can say this is the glucometer of complex diseases. It is very easy to use. Just a drop of blood, you can identify the sepsis and AMR biomarkers that are related with. So basically, why we have chosen the problem of sepsis?
Stand here. Stand here. Yeah.
So basically, why we have chosen the problem of sepsis? Because sepsis is basically maybe half, incidence maybe half as compared to heart attack. But the death rate is more than, you can say, twice as heart attack. And even every 1 person among 5 global deaths are related to sepsis. While we are talking 1 minute, every 1 minute, 1 or 2 people are dying in Europe due to sepsis. So overall, it is responsible for approximately 11 million deaths globally. And you can say approximately 10% of sepsis-related deaths are due to AMR. So basically, this platform is very easy to use. This is an AI/ML based solution. And what we are providing, it's a very easy to use tool for the doctors. So the doctor in its place can get the decisive data, can get the swift analysis that is required. Because what is the problem in sepsis? You can say high mortality of sepsis is lack of accessible, affordable and screening devices. So that is the major cause of sepsis related mortality. And with our device, we can reduce the basic mortality along with, so at present we are basically at preclinical stage. And we have, yes, like we can. At present, we have basically completed the preclinical studies with the 100 samples, and we are achieving approximately 95 to 98% of accuracy with the device. We have 1 granted patent and 2 patents we have already filed. Move to next slide, please. As we are a pre-revenue stage, so this is the projection that we are showing here. So with respect to device, we are approximately launching 300 device. 1 in the first year, 600 in second year, and then 1200 in the next year, third year. So with respect to 3 years of basically projections, we will be approximately 7 to 23% EBITDA we will attain. And along with that, if we talk about our launching strategy, So basically we will launch our device in first phase in India. And then of course the African and other countries are there for the next phase of launching we are planning. Next slide. Today basically I am here to ask for 2 CR. 1 CR commitment we already have from Government of India. And the next 1 CR is we are looking for to complete whatever the basically regulatory approvals are required. Different kind of scaling up, some part of scaling up is needed. So for that we are looking for 2 CR. Next slide please. If we talk about our competitive advancement and competitive landscape, so why we have to work on point of care system? Because majority of the cases, majority of the tests are laboratory based. Either they are from the big company or whosoever are working on LFAs, all the tests required some kind of, you can say instrument. So what we are doing, just a drop of blood and a doctor, a PSC worker, everybody can test the patient at the place. Data can be shared from the real time. So this is the advantage that our device is that it's an AIML based enabled tool so that we don't have to, it is reducing the burden on the healthcare also because the time of analysis is getting reduced. So what we are basically planning to do, FastSense is a one-stop solution for all your diagnostic need. You say and we make. So not only sepsis is the initial, you can say starting for us. We can develop, we can extend the platform for cancer screening to PCOS. Next slide please. We can extend the system for the cancer, for the PCOS, for the cardiac biomarkers. So all the FastSense, this platform is basically a one-stop diagnostic need for all your diagnostic requirements. Next slide, please. Next slide. So this is all about my team, myself, Dr. Preeti Nigam Joshi, and all my co-founder Harish Joshi and Mr. Dr. Shailen Mishra. We all are from IITs. Shailendra and Dr. Harish is basically from ISB Hyderabad and they are taking care of the business aspects, while Shailendra is in US and currently taking a part of the data analytics and AIML modeling. Along with that, we have a good team of scientists and researchers to take our journey ahead. Along with the technical team and scientific team, we have a good team of doctors because we are closely working with the doctors. We are the early stage of deployments. We have deployed our solutions and getting the data collection and feedbacks from the doctors and the stakeholders. And we have industry veterans also with us for joint go-to-market basically that we are looking forward.
I think you were trying to talk about your business model and time ran out. So please just finish what you were doing.
Yeah, so basically this will consist of distributor network mostly. So we will engage with the market influencer, key opinion leaders and distributor network to get the market access and market reach.
So how long does it take for a test to happen? How many hours or minutes it takes?
Okay, so we are basically reducing the time from 1 hour to, you can say the current testing requirement is around 2 hours to 72 hours when we go for the sepsis and culture testing. But we have reduced the time to 30 minutes.
30 minutes.
30 minutes.
And what is the cost of assay?
The cost of the assay is between 200 to 300 rupees.
Per assay.
Yes, there is a two components. One is the platform and one is the strip. So you can say it's a glucometer kind of system. Our platform cost is approximately 20K you can say, but it is the initial estimation and when we scale up the cost will automatically reduce.
Is it specificity, all the things are already proven?
Yes. We have completed the preclinical studies with the hospitals and the specificity and sensitivity is approximately 95 to 98%.
Okay. Very nice. Good. It's a very important thing. Thank you.
Yes.
Thanks, Uday.
We are basically raising funds for the large-scale deployments of the device currently and regulatory approvals associated with that.
What are your next steps, Preeti, in terms of, since your clinical validation is only on 100 samples, which has given you an accuracy of 95%, I guess. What are your next steps?
Basically, there are multiple components. So first of all, whatever the manufacturing aspects are related with the device post-validation, so there are certain, already we have identified the vendors because we want to keep ourselves asset light so that the contract manufacturing will be done for the platform things. Whatever the secret sauce, basically the modification of the strips and the cassettes, that we will do that we will keep with us. So that will be in-house. And whatever hospital we are basically working with, we have chosen for the trials and the deployments, they are going to be our initial customers. And with that, we will extend our network through distributors.
How do you go from 100 to 1000 or 10,000?
Yes.
To match with the accuracy? That's the question.
Yeah, that was my question. To have a actually clinically significant accuracy data in place.
For basically for the testing, how many patients we will test, that you want to know?
The accuracy number, how you call it, 100 samples. That's what the question is.
Okay. Basically, whatever the initial testing we have performed, that is based on the different blood samples, and rest of the data is not there. But when we will go for the hospital, so we will basically, more number of samples will be tested, maybe 1,000 to 10,000. And in that scenario, based on the other parameters that will be there, we will get better accuracy that is basically expected. We are expecting.
All right. What's the revenue model now?
Revenue model basically is will be, first of all, the government is one of the customer for us, because whatever work we are doing, it's very much relevant for the PSCs and the remote areas. And our work is well aligned with the WHO and Government of India newborn screening and all aspects, mother and maternal and child cares. So for that, first one of our customer is government. And along with that, we are retail customers also, like GPs, doctors and hospitals, path labs, because we are not taking anybody's business. We are only endorsing, we are supporting. And one of the other aspects is the software model. So the software version that we have, that can be integrated with any existing system. So we don't have to basically club it with the R device only. So that can generate some early revenue, early tractions for us. So when the software model will be validated, we can deploy it with the hospitals. So that can provide us the subscription model or licensing model. So that will generate revenue for us.
Great.
And the comprehensive device, because it required a long time, so in that scenario, we can do it later.
Greetings from Plebsy Innovations. Our vision is to make ultrasound accessible to inaccessible regions of the country. So if you look at the global data, one movement dies for every 2 minutes due to preventable causes during pregnancy. And if you look at the Indian data, only 24% of the Indian women undergo at least one ultrasound scan in their entire pregnancy cycle, whereas the recommendation is 4 to 5. Thereby, India is having the highest number of birth defects. And 60% of these birth defects can be detected and managed prenatally with ultrasound. So, not only with the pregnancy and birth defects, 80% of all the cancer cases can be screened early with the ultrasound. And this increases a 5-year survival rate from 20 to 90%. And not only the cancer and 2D echo scans, and even in case of road traffic accidents, traumas, ultrasound increases the time to diagnosis by 50%, thereby saving the golden hour. And not only the diagnosis, 27% of all the clinical cases like interventional radiology as well require ultrasound as a basic imaging modality. So if you look at the barriers of ultrasound, there are 20,000 practicing radiologists in the country, but only 13% of them are in the rural, are in the urban areas. What happened to the 66% of the rural population? On an average, Indian patients has to travel 45 kilometers to get the ultrasound scan done. The parity increases if you move from southern part to northeastern parts of the country. So all this is because of the requirement of physical presence of radiologists for the ultrasound. If you look at the other modalities like CT or MRI, X-ray, we don't need any physical presence, and radiologist can give a diagnosis. So we are solving the need for a technology which enables radiologists to perform ultrasound without being physically present on site, and also retaining the habit and feel how they are doing the scans. So if you look at the solution, there is a doctor station, somewhere he is sitting in Hyderabad, and the patient somewhere in any rural town like Karimnagar or Nizamabad within Telangana, and doctor will be able to control the ultrasound probe with the help of a robotic arm, and the same image will be relayed back in a real time with low latency and with a secure network layer. On the doctor side, there is a haptic curve pad which gives a unique touch feel to the doctor, and he will be able to do the basic ultrasound motions, and there are 2 displays for audio video feed as well as ultrasound feed. So on the patient, there is a 7-DOF robotic system placed, robot system which does rocking, tilting and rotation motions. The novelty in this thrilling manipulator is it doesn't change the plane of contact, which is a crucial requirement for ultrasound, and it is attached to a XYZ positioning system, and it is responsible for motion of from one place to other. So the network required for this scan is 3 Mbps upload and download, whereas our recommendation is 10 Mbps, and with the help of broadband we experienced a latency of 130 milliseconds, and with 5G it's around 80 milliseconds. So our IP, our product can reach from thorax, pelvic, abdomen to varicose veins regions. True from head to toe control we have, and it can do additionally 2D echo scans as well, and it can do the lateral side scans as well for pregnant women and obese patients. So I'll quickly take you through the market size as well as the business model. So for today we are looking at tele-operated ultrasound scans, but our vision is to automate the ultrasound scans. We'll deploy these to the rural centers. We'll collect the data. We'll do the automation from organ to organ, such as liver cirrhosis or 2D echo scans, and we'll do predictive diagnosis as well with the robotic systems. And if you look at the market size, the ultrasound service market in India itself is around 8,800 crores. And if you look at the targeted population with towns with less than 60k population, the market is around 1,096 crores, and the SOM will be around 700 crores. So we have three different business models. One is the FOCO model, franchise-owned company-operated model. For a small-scale diagnostic center, you bring in 50 lakhs and a space. We will give the entire radiology support as well as a robotic support and
So does this unit require a remote control system and all, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So is that also ready?
Yes, ma'am. The doctor side is also ready. So we are at the MVP stage and we are yet to go for safety certifications.
MVP stage. So it's not in the market yet.
Not, ma'am. We are in the pre-compliance stage.
Okay, what are the challenges you are facing? Because this looks, I know portable is a selling point, but there are various components to it, right? So what are the challenges you're facing to get the whole thing in place?
So the technical challenges we were facing was the embedded latencies, which we have already solved. So the technical part is sorted now. Challenges in the sense it's a regular part to go for the safety certifications. We are in that phase now, and the challenges with the latency also, which were already covered.
Okay, so what is the cost price
So
advantage?
the robotic system will cost around 12 lakhs selling price, and it is bundled with the ultrasound machine, which is a OEM, which will be around 10 lakhs. So the selling price would be between 20 to 22 lakhs.
How is this in comparison to the traditional ultrasound setup?
So the basic difference between traditional ultrasound and this is, on an average, the radiologist price per month is 3 lakhs in the city. If you look at the rural setup, it's 3x. So rural hospital should pay 3x the price which they are getting in the city to attract the radiologists to their centers. But here, the capital cost is increased by 12 lakhs, but still there is no recurring cost. We'll be paying only per scan basis, and diagnostic center need not hire a full-time radiologist, and they'll be doing on a paper scan model.
So you're positioning more from the radiologist costing point of view in comparison to the technology.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, hello all, great evening. So we are from Calder Health Technologies, where we are a company which is focused to develop an ecosystem for developing in-clinic procedures. So we are a team of people who are engineers and doctors. We have started working on this because our co-founder Arisharan, who is trying to figure out the slides part there, has a problem of nasal congestion, right? So here people, if I just have to have rise of hands who struggle with breathing, right? You've seen your relatives, your family members, people who are struggling with able to breathe normally through their nose, right? So that's what we are trying to solve, and that's a particular condition called as deviated nasal septum, where there are studies which indicates that it's one of the primary reasons which causes a lot of problems like sinusitis, sleep apnea, and all the things like fatigue and even nasal blockage. Next. So what it is? Basically, it's very simple. We have a septum which separates our nostrils. If it is deviated to either one side, it significantly obstructs the nasal passage, which in turn can able to manifest a lot of anatomical deformations, and that's where you see people getting obstruction for 10 years, but they can't take it anymore, so they go for a surgery. So that's where it generally happens in this condition. Next. So what are we trying to do here, right? So when we started talking about this to ENT clinics, what we started to really understand is there is a large set of people who needs to have a septal correction is not going for the procedure. So that is what our target opportunity is. And that in India itself, it's huge. About 1.2 crore people in India would want to go for a septal correction, but only 4.5 lakhs are going, which is 1 out of 60 is only happening, where the 59 is our target opportunity that we are going after. And there is a pipeline of trend which we see also, where we take all home remedies, we use nasal decongestants, we use medications, and at the end we go to an ENT guy. And even he says the moment that you want to get into a surgery, we'll ask our relatives who gone through the procedure and we say, I'm not going to do it. I'll probably die with this medication but not go for a surgery. But why? Next. So in nasal, the surgical procedures, there are two major factors. One is the nasal packing, where your nose will be completely stuffed for 2 days and they will forcefully pull it out, where there will be a lot of blood coming out, and this is a very painful process. So for those reasons, they stick to medical management. And at this point, we understand there was a need to empower these doctors to help it treat better. So what do we do? Next. So we have a patented medical device called as Swasam. So this is a non-surgical treatment option which can be performed within the clinic, doesn't require an operation theatre. So the doctors now can able to treat the more patients, the 59 out of them which are not taking the procedure. And for the patients, it's going to give them a long-term relief. He's not going to use any more medications. And now it's also going to be painless for the procedure. And we envision a procedure where he can just walk out of the clinic and resume his day-to-day activities. Next. So this is a here quick demonstration of how our product works. So basically the doctor will have an endoscopic examination to understand the septal deviation, and they apply a local anesthesia, and he'll insert a balloon unit which in the septum is deviated, and he'll inflate it so that it pushes to the center, and then he'll insert the other balloon unit, and then he'll hold it for 15 to 20 minutes, and he'll apply a EMR, and he'll able to reshape the septal cartilage. So how do we do it is that we harness a science called electromechanical reshaping, which can able to reshape cartilages with minimum electric potential and mechanical stipulation. Next. So we have one global competitor called as Vivare, which uses a radio frequency technology to do the same sort of an effort we are trying to achieve. But we are differentiating by becoming even a lesser temperature procedure, which will even reduce the level of tissue damage that has been caused. Next. So we are a B2B business model where our focus is on clearly ENT hospitals and ENT clinics. And we have a one-time sale of a Swasam device and a recurring sale for every procedure. They have to use our balloon unit. Next. So we have three pricing models. One is the rental model where the ENT clinics can procure our medical device at a rent of rupees 1 lakh. And on top of it, for every procedure, they would pay 15,000 for the balloon unit. And for the hospitals where they generally have quite a amount of volume, they will say that they'll procure 100 units, which cost about 15 lakhs per year for 3 years, and we'll give them the medical device for free. And we just have a one-time purchase model just to show them that we have a device which is worth of 5 lakhs. So, but our focus is going to be the pricing model and subscription and as well as the one-time sale. Next. So we're starting with India, the largest population of the world, where about 4,700 odd ENT clinics and hospitals are available. Our focus is to get to the 724 of them so that we can get to 100 crore ARR, and we want to achieve that in 4 years post our regulatory approval. Next. So this has been our journey. We started on December 2022. Onward, we were able to develop our own control unit. We were able to establish our safety, and we were able to also complete our MVP design. But right now, we are at a stage to do our MVP product development. We'll be completing in next 2 months. And onward, we wanted to secure the test license and want to get it to a level of human trials, where we are looking for partnerships with organizations like Cipla and other pharmaceutical companies and also medical device companies to become a strategic partner. Sure, sir. Next. So we have been recognized by the ecosystem. We have filed a patent and one is in process. We also have received letter of intents from leading medical institutions like AIIMS Guwahati, Patna and Guwahati, and also we are the winners of NBEC 2022. Next. So our ask is for 1.6 crores, which will primarily help us to accelerate our process towards getting to a human trial testing in AIIMS Jodhpur, where already our clinical advisor, Dr. Amit Goyal, is available for us. So we wanted to harness that partnership to do it, and we were able to take to the next level. Thank you. So as a last part, so as a company, we don't want to stick to one product, right? We identified that in nasal congestion is not an area where a lot of solutions are available. So we want to become the next Medfin or the next Practo for nasal congestions, where our focus is going to be narrower. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that. Couple of questions. One is, so you mentioned you're at MVP June 24.
Right.
So where exactly are you with the product readiness?
So basically, we are now trying to do the animal model trials with our things. So we have completed all the lab validations right now.
Okay.
So we had the balloon unit now in fabrication. So we want to test that out with the animal model to generate.
You've not yet started.
The animal model has not started yet.
Okay.
Yeah. So because we started about 1.5 years back, so we are in the process of now getting to it. But the funds is already available for that. We are
Right.
primarily raising it for the test license and the human trial testing.
And you've mentioned you have some LOIs, right?
Right.
Okay. From Hyderabad or?
So primarily we focused on getting some from private ENT clinics, private hospitals, and primarily we received a lot of interest from the government setting because for them the surgery is costing about 3-4 hours of time, and also there are inflations are coming for them. So if this procedure can be integrated, they see that it's a very quick solution for them to offer. So we have got a traction from their part of it.
And you mentioned in one of the slides a revenue of 13 lakhs 80,000 something. What was that? Since you're pre-rev right now, what was that amount?
13 lakhs.
There was a revenue figure that you'd mentioned. What was that?
So basically, we have 3 pricing models. One is a subscription model.
No, not that. There was a slide before that where you'd mentioned a revenue number.
Okay. So in India, we are starting now here, and we have about 4,700 odd hospitals.
Okay.
We want to acquire 724 ENT such hospitals. If we acquire them,
that was your projection.
That was our projection. So that's what we wanted to get into.
Interesting.
And we start with India, and we want to eventually get into the US and Europe. But we feel that here, since our sort of medical is aligned, we want to do it in India first.
Got it. And I think just one quick, question also around the device itself. How are you controlling the pressure? So you've mentioned that, the doctor inserts it, and how do you control that? I didn't see anything about that. And
Right.
and also how much expertise is required to administer this? Is it a doctor level thing? Is it a nurse? Is it a,
Yeah, I'm glad that you asked that question. So there are products already available for different use cases for epistaxis of the nose, which uses a similar balloon, which is a mechanically operated balloon. There is no electronics involved in it. So the doctor along with his assistant will able to apply that necessary pressure. So that device is already there. We are not reinventing the whole thing. The unique IP that we are trying to do is that we are combining it with a small electric potential so that the cartilage can be reshaped. So that's what our IP is.
interesting? And again, a doctor needs to do this. It's not something that other people can be trained with.
Yeah,
Right?
the ENT doctor has to be doing. Under his supervision, it has to happen.
And there's constant feedback to understand how much pressure he's applying, what that's doing
Right.
to the septum. There's continuous feedback, right?
Yeah, we
So
wanted
the
to
chances
integrate
of
those
this
sensors.
going like the other way, what are the chances of this going the other way?
The chances of this going other way in terms of the damage it's probably going to cause.
Yeah.
So the epistaxis balloon, I think they have a safety limit already fixed. So it will not go beyond that. And for our septal corrections, we are not applying like the pressure which will basically cause any nerve damage also. It's under that pressure. So we are not going to harm the patient at any cost. But as you said, we have a system which will be able to measure the
Like a
pressure.
fail-safe. Got it.
Also, that is involved.
Sure. Thank you.
I'll keep it very quick. Two quick questions. One, just an extension of what Vaishali asked. Do you foresee a certain level of training being imparted to the ENT surgeon before they can actually use your device? Yes. Second, in terms of the lifetime of the procedure, the correction,
Right.
have you done any internal bench level validation study to identify that there won't be any reoccurrence of the deviation post surgery?
Right. So, in terms of the training part of it, there is going to be a level of training required for the ENT doctor to get familiarized with it. But as I told you earlier, that we are not trying to give them a new treatment procedure. They already use epistaxis balloon. We're just going to give them the other modality of these electrical potentials and how to control them. So we'll provide them a console. And since we have AIMS Jodhpur on board, we're going to conduct these workshops and awareness programs to these doctors, and we'll able to take it better. So that's where we said we need 4 years to get to a level of 724 because it happens very slowly every year.
And you mentioned that you would be conducting animal study.
Right.
Do you think you can bypass it and maybe do it on a cadaver? That would
Right, but the thing is, again, as you said, by doing a cadaveric testing, we might not able to get the safety studies because it's a dead tissue already. So we cannot able to get the safety, and also, as you said, the relapse rate, like if the cartilage is going to come back or not.
Yeah, Renuka, please solve.
Hi, very good presentation. I think you covered all the valid points. One question I have is regarding that process itself. So, is that process patented? Can that be, replicated? And what's the entry barrier here for someone to do what you're doing?
They basically cannot use the technology of electric current to reshape the cartilage. So that is the technology that is patented. A process of treating a patient cannot be patented in India, but in US it can be possible.
Okay.
So in US it can be possible to replicate.
US they have like a couple of patents which are patented the procedure, but our core IP is that we don't want to do the procedure. We want to create a device which a doctor can use it to sell it. So our IP is in the construction of the device, how uniquely we were able to reduce the tissue damage. So we were able to work with the electronics part of it, how the electrodes arrangements work. We were able to identify there's an optimized way of doing that, and that's where our IP is.
Okay, and you have secured the patent on that.
We have applied for a full patent specification, and we'll be having it maybe in a month or so.
What is your pricing model and how is it beneficial for the patient in comparison to the other models?
I'm glad. So basically, right now, if you look at in India, the septoplasty starts anywhere about 30,000 and it goes up to 1 lakh. There's a range in the cost of it. But if you look at the lower margin of the cost, the doctors only get 6,000, 20% as his surgeon fee. But in our procedure, the only cost that you probably have to pay is the balloon part of it, which is 15,000. So with our procedure, you'll earn more, but ours is a premium solution. So we are starting with this model of calculation, but if it ends up that our clinical results are so good and will be a premium to a conventional procedure, then our pricing even can go higher because the patient will be willing to pay more because there's no recovery or any harm involved. So we are waiting for the whole clinical validation to get done so that we can be concrete on that part.
My name is Praveen. I'm the founder and CEO of Neuronix Lab. At Neuronix, we are building 10 minutes diagnostic delivery platform. So I graduated from IIT Delhi in mathematics and computing, and I always had the inclination to do something in healthcare. And that is wherein I joined Stanford India Biodesign to understand healthcare. And that is wherein I met my co-founder, as well as I have advisors from AIMS and IIT Delhi. So having said that, so we roughly came across more than 300 problems that we identified in the clinical immersion that we had. So out of all those problems, diagnostic was one such area where we realized we actually can do something through technology. And so given the fact that there's a lot of people and processes involved today in even the most basic test, which is called the CBC, complete blood count. So next slide, please. So there's right from the collection of the blood, which is which you require a phlebotomist, then you basically require a lab technician, then you require a lab clinician, right? And it cannot happen in a primary setting. And this is one of the most fundamental tests that is being used across your healthcare system. So we thought if we can actually challenge that and bring down to a system in which you can actually do your test just like you do your blood sugar, right? Prick your finger, get the sample done in your small kit, and then it processes it less than 10 minutes. And that is what we have built at Neuronix. And it takes less than 10 minutes, which otherwise takes you at least in tier 2 and tier 3 cities as you go around. It will take you more than 24 hours for the same test. So the 4 fundamental technology to which we have basically, rather than venous blood, you can actually do it on a finger prick, is that we have a precision robotic system. Then you have a microfluidic cartridge. Then you have multispectral imaging that we do. And on top of it, we use AI. So we have, for the first time, what we have done is that we have actually separated the hardware and the software part of it, which essentially means that today, if we are able to do CBC, the same platform can essentially be scaled to malaria, filaria, thalassemia, leukemia. And the underlying principle behind that is that anything which has to do with your morphology, cell structure can essentially be done on the same device. All you need is to change your cartridge. And I have kept some of the use cases, but this particular use cases can be also scaled to animal diagnostics, to your IVF, say, sperm analysis, and n number of other things in which morphology plays an important role. So one of the important aspect of this particular technology is that it's visual based. Just like you in your radiology, you get a film, right? You get an X-ray film so that the doctor can get it. But in blood, you just get numbers. You never get a visual evidence. In our case, what we are saying is that if we are able to give you, say, if we are giving a nucleated RBC positive, we can actually give you images of that. So on the market side, we have a huge market for the CBC, just for the CBC alone, and roughly around $1 billion of market is what we are basically is the serviceable operatable market. Next slide, please. So on the revenue model side, this will be a kit-based, so razor blade model, in which we will charge for the per cartridge, and the device will go either as a one-time cost or as a rental model. So on the unit economic side, the BOM of the device costs us 3 lakh rupees, and the kit is roughly costing us 10 rupees. So if you actually just do 20 tests per day at one particular center, which is on a very lower side, if you actually look at the number of tests CBC is being done, so the cost of the entire machine can be covered in 6 months. So our idea is to install it at 10,000 centers in next 5 years, and for which we can expect revenue between 700 to 800 CR. Our global competitive landscape, if you actually look at, there are very limited players who are actually doing something in the point of care CBC. One, which is in Israel, SiteDX, who has already got the FDA. There are other couple of companies who are not exactly into the CBC, but into the peripheral, which is the 10 to 20% of the segment wherein the visual analysis of the smear are done. So what we are basically saying is that we are playing at a point wherein we are reducing the complexity as well as bringing the cost down. Yeah. So we have already got our IP covered. We have one patent granted. We have already done one scientific study, academic study at AIIMS Delhi done. So we have already got the test license received. We are now in a process to get our manufacturing license. We are already in talks with some of the bigger distributors. So we were awarded some grants. Next slide, please. So we were Tech 30 startup in 2022. We are supported by AIC CCMB. We are supported by AIIMS, IIT Delhi, and Venture Center Pune. We last raised at a 4.25 CR at a valuation of 36 CR pre-money. We just closed our another bridge round of 4 CR to commercialize this particular technology. What we are basically looking forward is, I think there was one slide next to this. Yeah. No, next. You can just skip this. Yeah. So the idea was the money that we raised was to build a core team for the technical team. Next slide, please. And we have built a team. So we are currently raising 3 CR because we spent 10,000 on the flight. So we thought we'll close this particular round with additional some funds. So this particular 3 CR will go into 100 installation once we have our commercialization, the factory license comes in, which will happen after July. So thank you. Any other questions? Happy to answer.
Currently in the market, it costs roughly around 120 rupees, the CPP test.
Yeah.
So are you saying that somebody will pay 100 cartridge plus some money for the hospital to make some money out of it?
So if you actually look at it, the cost to the lab is roughly between 30 to 40 rupees today. And that is just the cost of the reagent. Then extra cost, you have phlebotomist, your lab technician, and then lab clinician. That is an additional cost. And of course, the licensing part that goes, you cannot have a CBC machine at any facility without taking a license. What we are basically building is you do not have to take a license for that. So the cost to the patient comes anywhere between 250 rupees to maybe 600, 700 rupees.
Second point is on the same platform, I'm interested in knowing what are the things in pipeline to build more models other than CBP.
So currently we are in talks with some of the institutes who are dealing with malaria, some of the institutes who are dealing with filaria. And that after that, we also would like to go into more of like say thalassemia or leukemia based testing, which is basically done on the morphology based.
Okay, thank you.
So one is, why are you thinking of manufacturing these units, and why aren't you like subcontracting or contracting it?
Currently, we would like to, at least for say first few hundred devices, we would like to do an assembly, and post that, because there is a lot of optimization that we believe when we actually do it in-house, there's a lot of processes that can be optimized. And that is what we intend to do in first few hundred devices. We want to optimize the entire process and then do maybe a contract manufacturer.
So what's the BOM cost today?
3 lakh rupees.
3 lakh. Okay. So let's say I am a diagnostic center. I'm taking your device just for CBC or CBP, right? But I'm doing other tests through whatever mechanisms I'm doing. So what's the advantage that I get?
So if you actually look at the entire market, so we have 1 lakh diagnostic centers, out of which you have 5,000 NABL, and basically someone who has in-house testing units and devices. Most of them are collection centers, but all of them aspire to at least do some of the testings themselves.
But that's what you're assuming, that I'll do only CBP as a patient, and hence the requirement.
Right. So as I said, CBC is one of the most primary tests. And apart from that, anything that you do, you can actually outsource that to AD. At least for now, you can actually send samples just like you do today. But the idea here is that at any center which does have say 3-part differential, because so even in CBC you have 3 kind of machines. One is 3-part, 5-part and 7-part. We are giving you 7-part analysis at a cost of 3-part analysis, right? So yeah.
And finally, what is the efficacy numbers?
So currently, out of 19 parameters that we would like to go for the entire CBC, 10 parameters have already been done for internal validation that we have completed, and it is 10% of deviation, which is by far WHO standard. It's okay, because if you have a hemoglobin of say 10, and if you are basically giving a 10.5 or something like that, it should be okay.
Thanks.
Quick question. What sort of regulatory approvals do you have? Do you have any regulatory approvals?
So, just like any medical device, you require basically, so what we have done is we have got a test license, and after that we basically as we go along with AIIMS Delhi and AIIMS Jodhpur we will do our clinical trials. The academic study has been done, but post test license, the study has to be completed. Internal validation, we have done more than 1,000 samples till now. Yeah.
And also, is it a digital pathology that you're doing, or is it like a manual?
No, everything. So it's basically a small point of care device, which has a kit in which the blood goes, and it basically digitizes your sample, and then you actually build analysis on top of it. So it kind of digitizes all your cell lines.
So you'll have a cloud connectivity for a central collection center where they would actually analyze this? So, or do you have automated?
We are currently doing it, say, on cloud, but the same model can be scaled, to put it down on the device itself. So everything will be edge computed. It will not have to go back to the cloud and then do
what's the time to market that you have? Like,
so we are looking forward to commercialize as soon as July this month. In coming 2 to 3 months.
With the regulatory approvals in the time, like the CDSCO and all those. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Any other questions? Yeah.
Do you have any manufacturing unit right now?
Manufacturing unit. So we have established in Gurgaon itself. Okay. So we can actually do 1 unit per day at our center, the current setup that we have today.
You said your ask is for 3 crore with 100 installations, right?
Yes.
Can you just elaborate about what are those 100 installations? What do you mean by that?
Can you please repeat?
You said 3 crore with 100 installations.
Yeah.
What are those 100 installations? What do you mean?
So basically what we're saying is that for 100 installations, for manufacturing 100 machines, given the BOM is 3 lakh rupees today, so you need a working capital of 3 CR in order to go forward with.
So it's more like a working capital.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a couple of quick questions.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that your BOM currently is 3 lakhs. At scale, how much could you reduce it to?
we are very ambitious. We are looking forward to bring that below 50,000, but
Below
we are not
50,000.
but we are not promising it yet.
And
But
at what
essentially,
scale? What would that number be?
anywhere between above 1,000, we would be able to bring that cost to less than 50,000 rupees.
Interesting.
There's a lot of engineering that is already ongoing to actually bring, because the last time I spoke to Aditi, our cost was 10 lakh bomb roughly, which we have already reduced to
Interesting.
3 lakh rupees. And now we are basically pushing forward to bring the bomb to further 50,000, because as we understand, it's a volume game. Because one Trans Asia has roughly 10,000 installation of 3-part differential in the market, roughly doing 600 CR of revenue. What I believe is given the kind of solution that we are building, it can easily replace such kind of systems which are say 3-part or 5-part, given that one, it will be cost friendly, and second, you do not require any expertise in basically operating those devices.
Right. And you mentioned, of course, this is all visual, right? So what's your lens quality like?
So,
and in comparison to the competitors?
So one, basically you can visually see and differentiate the cells, the granularity, the cellular structure.
But give me
and
the number.
nucleus.
Give me the number.
I'm really sorry. So that is something that we have basically with our own manufacturer. We are basically working on that particular.
Where are you right now? Where are you right now?
We are based in Gurgaon.
No, I meant where are you right now with the image quality of the lens and the stage of the project, the product.
Yeah.
readiness?
So in our product, with the lens that is going, that is built sort of with our sort of expertise, and with manufacturers in-house capability of what they can actually build. We are not using standard objectives which are in the market. And for that reason, we have actually reduced the cost of 10 lakh to 3 lakh, because एक जो objective जो Olympus का आता है with high achromatic with all the aberrations, so it costs you 1.25 lakh.
Quick answers, please.
Yeah. And what's the product readiness like? Is it
so by
completely-
July we should be able to commercialize.
This July?
This
3
July.
months?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
The 3 crore that you're raising, are you raising at the last valuation of 40 or?
So you are asking about the valuation?
Yes.
So we raised last at 36 CR pre-money. We just closed at 70 CR pre-money. And we are open to, at the same valuation or maybe more, if you could.
Okay. And in terms of milestone achievement, what exactly do you plan to achieve once the 100 installations are done?
Post 100 installation. So our idea is to mainly think about say 1,000 installation, right? And for that we would require again some capital to scale it, and that is wherein there are VCs who are interested, who would like to take this. Come along with us to take it from 100 to say 1,000 or 5,000. So the idea is mainly once we do that 100, one, we will establish the entire product line. The second, you understand which are the areas wherein this particular solution is actually accepted well.
Good evening. Hi, I'm Said from Obron Biotech. So we are a next generation qPCR technology company. So during the COVID-19 pandemic, we saw a boom in PCR infrastructure across the world, and that proved to be the golden standard of testing. But PCR still has a detection limit. As we could see during COVID, patients weren't being detected early enough during the onset of the symptoms, or at the back end of their symptoms, they weren't probably being detected closely enough. So RT-PCR, though still the golden standard, still has a sensitivity gap to be bridged. So the current gold standard of PCR detection, TACMAN and other methods, basically has so any attempts to improve sensitivity leads to a drop in specificity. This is due to non-specific signal or noise. So our technology platform aims to reduce non-specific signal. This simultaneously increases specificity and sensitivity by improving the detection window and by improving the dynamic range. So next slide, please. So PCR usually has 3 components. So the oligonucleotides or the probes and the primers is the secret sauce of our technology. The labeled ones and they are currently being made locally successfully. DNTPs and TAC and enzymes, that is the building blocks, and the enzymes will be made locally further later on. Currently, we felt the need Go back. We felt the need to be because of really bad last mile logistics. We were forced to basically kind of start making this component in India itself. Currently, nobody makes this particular kind of oligos in India. Next. So we undertook a clinical sample study of 70 samples in a local government hospital here in Hyderabad. And as you can see, we were able to achieve 1500 plus basis points jumps in sensitivity, which we were basically using the both the assays. I might mention TACMAN, Libra is what we call our assay. Both were made locally, so as to basically to not bias the comparison, but then we were still able to detect 5 more positive samples than the current gold standard, and we were actually able to detect 8 more positive samples than what the current hospital PCR setup is. This is again done using all India made reagents. Go ahead, next slide, please. So the opportunity is basically PCR has multiple applications. The big applications, obviously molecular diagnostics, and with an increased focus on infectious disease diagnostics on diseases like hepatitis B, C, HB, TB, HIV, HPV. As you can see, molecular diagnostics is the most regulated industry, while forensics, agriculture, food safety are semi-regulated industries. While drug development, contract research, environment, and clinical studies are non-regulated industries with PCR applications. Next slide, please. So where our market positioning for this is going to be is we plan to price, though our technology differentiation is higher than what the current gold standard of Roche and Thermo Fisher, we will be pricing ourselves below Thermo Fisher or Roche and between our QIAGEN. But then higher than what probably like a local manufacturer is. Our technology can also be extended to dPCR. And similarly, we will be able to offer a lower price than dPCR just because of the higher dynamic range and the sensitivity of there. What's our value proposition? Our value proposition is for any PCR assay across any application, we will be the next generation best in class applications. Your more accurate diagnosis, your more accurate clinical outcomes. As you said, because it's a more sensitive technology, we will be able to enable early detection of disease. And more importantly, across workflows, there won't be any change in the technician's workflow, be it in the hospital, diagnostics chains, or any setup. Next slide. So we have IP filed already in US, Europe, and Japan. National filing which is completed 3 months back. PCT has been filed. We are filing the next patent right now. The global PCR market for reagents is around a 9 billion market. The US PCR market is around 3.6 billion. And with the concentration of clinical diagnosis is a $4 billion worldwide market. Clinical samples validation studies, and where we have our MVP for hepatitis B already ready, and you can see the efficacy results. What our next plan for go-to-market is basically to launch more products in the unregulated space, then apply for regulatory clearances in the clinical space, and then launch them, and then eventually, if we have more and more traction, then go launch in newer markets. Our team, basically, I'm from a Bitspillani graduate with a background in marketing and analytics, early employee Swiggy. I work with my father. He is one of the with almost 3+ decades of experience in the PCR field. He also has a patent in the field, has developed assays, has developed reagents, all the multiple raw materials, and so on. So we are the recipient of the 50 lakh BIRAC BIG grant. The IP and the proof of concepts have been self-born. And we are currently, because we are still pre-revenue, we are looking forward to most connects and all, and obviously looking forward to more questions.
Basic one, how much are you raising right now?
We are still figuring that out. I was just saying, okay. but then we're happy to connect most with people.
Sure.
Because the thing is, again, depends on the traction, how many of basically how much you want to do of the next milestone. We have our MVP ready. So it's a platform technology, and it's not necessarily products, standalone products itself. But the idea is that we basically start off with the non-regulated products in contract research and drug development, which don't require any regulatory clearances, get some traction. And once we have our first 1 or 2 paying customers interested, then we come back to larger, more and more investors and so on.
2 quick questions. One, what is your pricing strategy?
Yeah.
And second, how competitive are you going to be in terms of, the foreign players? We have the PCR platforms available.
Competitive in terms of technology or price?
price?
Price, as I said, right, we plan to basically, because this is good superior technology, in fact, this is best in the class PCR positioning, we'll be positioning ourselves below Thermo Fisher and Ross, which are the gold standard companies in this field, and slightly above a company, Qiagen, which also has a fairly large market share. So that's where we're going to be. We set up in around October 2022. We picked up the BIRAC BIG grant in August 22. We've been incubated in Atal Incubation Center for over a year.
Where are you with the product readiness? I didn't see the timelines. I know you mentioned that, you're
the product readiness, as I said, right, we are a technology platform. The technology platform is probably 70-82% there. There's further scope for improvement. Any product development will take, any assays will probably take about 2 months to build out. But that's the average period. And since we're manufacturing capabilities, once we have an assay developed, we should be able to get it out in hardly any time.
So what are you looking at in terms of timelines right now?
Right now is probably in the next 3 to 4 months, we basically get some tractions with the first contract research companies, raise some initial funds, and then basically go ahead and then apply for regulatory clearances for our first 4 products in the clinical space. We already completed hepatitis B, hepatitis C, TB, and HIV.
In terms of your technology, your TACMan competitor, so your enzyme is your secret sauce, right?
No,
and then
like the primer and the probe, which you can think of as like a chemical sensor.
So your primers are designed better, or what is it?
Yeah, the primers are designed in a different way.
And then what about the enzyme? The
enzyme and the other building blocks stay the same.
And so you have a patent on that? You file for patents?
Yes, we file patents in there. So the patent is on the oligo design or the primer probe design, the chemical
sensor. So you
sensor.
have to file a patent for every oligo that you're going to design for?
No. This is basically, that's how the current gold standard one is also set up. I was mentioning TACMan, TACPath. They filed the patent about 30 years back about the platform tech. And using this platform tech, you basically keep launching oligos and so on. In particular, in some segments, if you're able to show particularly great efficacy, then the patent opens up.
So are these like room temperature ones, or is it
this basically are qPCR and dPCR, which is basically your hospitals and diagnostics change lab base and so on, generating revenue through the unregulated space, through launching kits in the contract and R&D space.
I hope you're not looking at acquisition as your potential exit.
Sorry?
I hope you're not looking at potential acquisition as your exit. And then you're going to...
It's far away. I mean, if that's on the horizon, it's far. I mean, because the thing is, we've also set up like an Indian supply chain. So, the game we want to probably play in this match is also long term.
Hello everyone. I'm Shankara Kola, co-founder, Enzyme Solutions Private Limited. Okay, next slide. It is a protein engineering company. We design the proteins for improving properties, for designing protein therapeutics and enzymes. Next. We have a proprietary technology called massive mass spectrometry assisted in vitro evolution technology. By using this technology, we can improve the proteins with improved properties like protease resistance, thermostability, and aggregation such kind. So, this technology we have developed in my PhD during CCMB. By using this technology, we developed some growth factors with longer half-life. By using these growth factors, we are able to make wound healing products and also serum-free formulations for artificial meat and also stem cell culture. So this is our team. I am Shankara Kola. I did my MTech from IIT Kharagpur and PhD from CCMB. And Dr. Amulya Rao Garu, a co-founder, and we have 4 members team. They have good domain knowledge. Next. Coming to the market, target marketing, mostly our growth factors, we wanted to develop wound healing patches and ointments. It has a big market value, huge market value. According to Grandview Research, it is 26 billion by 2026. In India, it is nearly $1 billion. Different enzymes and growth factors for different purposes. Our main go-to target strategy, our main business plan is B2B and B2C. We will help academics, companies, pharmaceutical companies to solve their protein problems. We got some grants. By using that grant money, we have developed some growth factors and also some improved enzymes. we wanted to give them as a technology transfer, and also we will out-licensing our technology to develop wound healing products. Why? Because this wound healing area is very huge. At least nowadays, since 20 years, everybody are doing same way, they are using antibiotics and some collagen substrates for maintaining the moisture. There is no novelties so far. So this technology, by using the growth factor, that will give the novelty to the wound healing products. Where this growth factor is helpful, in wounds, naturally growth factors are there, but in the wound environment, some proteins are there that degrades the growth factors, that slow up the healing process. But our growth factors are more stable. It can withstand the our body proteases. How much stability is in this human serum? Natural growth factors are degrading in 15 minutes, but our growth factors are stable more than 6 hours. We are able to accumulate nearly 1 crore. We spend that money wisely. We developed all protocols, everything, and also in this 1.5 years after starting our company, we are able to develop 3 products towards the patent filing. So we need 1 crore rupee for next 1 year to take these products into the market. And also for the 4 years, we are expecting at least 4 crores, improve our expertise, and also doing some preclinical and clinical studies.
Shankar garu, what is the current stage and ippudu ante ఏ stage lo undi మీ product?
Current stage means we have a lot of products, projects, mainly in this growth factor area. We made 8 natural growth factors. Among the 8 natural growth factors, we made 3 growth factors are more robust. Okay. Those things we already making some containing wound healing products like transdermal patches. We are in preclinical studies.
So you need 1 crore, right?
What's it?
You are looking for 1 crore. At any valuation, have you done any valuation and chestara?
We already did valuation, but for next 1 year, we need that money to
develop the
achieve our
product.
goals, sir.
Excellent product, it's excellent. And look, sir, you need to understand more about product and other financials.
Who are your target customers?
Our target customers are right now we don't have any experience in the market. So we wanted to make different products like wound healing products. We wanted to sell that technology to the already existing companies. It is related to pharma companies who they are making ointments for wounds.
With this, we ended about 11 presentations, and thanks to all the jury members and investors, angels here. We got a lot of angels today. So now I just want to invite Dr. Madhu. Yeah, so we'll call each one of the jury come investors here so that they can tell about the experience and also the best deals that they're going to announce. So first I'll start with the senior most and also having a different experience in this game, Uday sir. So please come in.
Basically, we focus on healthcare coupled with technology a lot, and we do ourselves some of the innovations and some of the areas we invest. Like we invested in Bionic Arms, which is one of the company which produces Bionic Arms. In fact, they sell it to Ukraine a lot. Ukraine is having war torn, and that's one area. And we also invest in hospital areas. Thank you very much. Okay. And so it's a great thing. Thank you very much for inviting us. We found some exciting things here and we marked them here. I'll not announce anything, no surprise announcements, because we need to go behind the what is presented to us. We will check it up, and based on that, we will be choosing some and we'll be taking forward. Thank you very much.
Hey, thanks for the invite. I think it was great sessions. good pitch. I think you had curated them very well. So they had asked, made the right request, etc. Coming from a biotech space, I think the pitches were great. So I like that. Some of the startups were interesting and we'll definitely look at them. Silver Needle is not predominantly focused on biotech, but we would like to get there. So I think we'll look at a couple. As Uday mentioned, I wouldn't name any here. It's obviously a fund that will take its own course, but happy with what we saw today, and I think very enriching. Thanks, Ramji.
I'm from Global Innovation Hub and Silver Needle, so most of the points they covered, and some few interesting pitches are there, which we will discuss later. Thank you.
I think all the 11 pitches are wonderful. Everyone is very, all the founders, they're very vibrant, young, energetic, and I've seen a lot of passion among them. Basically, I run a company called as Finanics Capital. I'm an investment banker. We have super HNIs and ultra HNIs. I manage a portfolio of around 5,000 crore AUM, and we do a lot of debt syndication for mid and large corporates. And we also do a lot of IPO services for mid and large corporates. I have 2 portfolios in my mind. I'll get back to you, Ramji Garu, maybe a week.
Great. Thank you so much. That's a great positive vibes.
So good evening, and I think congratulations to CCMB, because I think very diverse set of portfolio that we saw, and obviously great work happening there. I'm not someone who's actively investing right now, but there are a couple of exciting ones, and my job more as an enabler is to see what can be done to help some of them, and I'll kind of pursue that separately with you, Ramji. So congratulations and
thank you.
From Biome, what we do is we partner with exceptional entrepreneurs such as you, and we help build businesses and invest in them. Special congratulations to all the entrepreneurs, because I know how hard it is to communicate biotech to a bunch of people that might not necessarily be biotech investors, and I think everyone put in a lot of effort, so thank you very much.
So it's heartening to see, as a scientist turned investor, to see a lot of faces and really see the science evolve over time. So it's really heartening to see, as a scientist, many of you have also turned into entrepreneurs and making commercializable products. So it's really nice to see how the ecosystem has also evolved. And I've known both Ramji and Madhu for a very, very long time.
First of all, I think amazing work being done here. And me coming from a technology background and also working in healthcare space, I understand how relevant some of the work you are doing is. And it's an extremely difficult space as well compared to purely tech-based startups, right? But I think definitely, I'm representing the fund, Silver Needle Ventures, and as Ajay mentioned, we'll definitely see how we want to get into this space in future. Only one feedback I would give to all is that I think being in this space, I think most of the times you pitch for grants or some of the CSR fund money, etc. The way you approach pitching is kind of different when you come to the investors, but because what they see is more from not only the social impact, but how commercially viable, scalable, and I think those are the aspects you look, and ROI, right? I think those are the elements some were missing. I thought I'll share that feedback. It will help you all. And very nice to be here, and truly enjoyed listening to all the pitches.
Thank you so much, Ramji, for inviting me here. And as I said, I represent Tempest Law Associates and here to support the startup ecosystem. Thank you so much.
So I really enjoyed the pitches that I did catch. It's always a joy to listen to the startups that CCMB presents. Been part of several before that he's roped me in for. I just want to say I was particularly happy about the last one that came, Enzyme. It was a surprise, and I was very happy that he made an effort. He pitched, especially right at the end when nobody's expecting. He's literally the last entrepreneur between us and food. And he had the confidence to come and pitch, and he was the only one, at least in the pitches I saw, who didn't look at the slides at all. He just spoke. So I really appreciated that. Thank you for making the effort. So I just want to say all the very best. I'm currently representing Endia Partners, working with, I'm sure all of you have heard, one of the first early stage VCs which invest in life sciences.
Yes.
Before this, I've been an entrepreneur myself for 10 years. not at all related to healthcare, but deep tech. We were doing extended reality AR/VR in 2011. Donkey's years before it became so popular. So obviously you can understand how that story went, crashed and burnt, 10 years. And then after that, I actually ended up getting therapy by working in an NGO. So 1 year I worked for social good, tech for impact. And now, of course, trying to, help the ecosystem from my perspective, from my experiences, from my failures, trying to tell startups what not to do, because I have plenty of that experience from this side of the table. So, very happy to see the ecosystem here today. I myself was actually in Hyderabad, and the Hyderabad from 15 years ago is very different from the Hyderabad today. So really, really happy how much progress we've made, that incubators like CCMB exist to help. All of these amazing investors here exist to help startups. The kind of grants that everybody is getting, it's incredible. So, very happy to be here, very happy to support, yes. And lovely to connect with all of you. So, thank you for having me here.
Hi everyone, I'm Aditi from Indian Angel Network, and I'm leading a biotech sector focused initiative called BioAngels, which is in partnership with BIRAC. So we're trying to angel invest in early stage life sciences startups, and thank you Madhu sir and Ramji for having me here. Some of the startups did really, really well. Clearly stating out their asks, their roadmap, their financial projections, etc. But of course, there is a lot of work which is needed to be done for the remaining startups. And I'm really glad that we could actually have this kind of a mixer event especially for life sciences founders and the investors, because all the events that I've attended in the past, all of them are sector agnostic, and we poor life sciences founders and investors are, trying to find our own niche space. So great job, the whole AICCCMB team. And in terms of couple of suggestions to the founder, it would be great if you can, as Dr. Renuka mentioned, as an investor, we of course invest in the team. We bet a lot on the founders, but we are also trying to assess the financial growth trajectory of your startup. So it would be great if you could actually couple your financial revenue projections with the company roadmap, and you're able to sell a growth story from your pitch deck. So that's all for tonight. We'll be happy to connect.
This is Suril Charity. I'm representing Succeed Ventures. So coming from a biotech research background, so I had a wonderful time looking at the wonderful startups, especially biotech and medtech space. So thanks for having me. And to end on a lighter note, to all those founders who are looking for a fund, I'm just one call away. You can just have my number, and we can just fix a meeting and take this forward. Yeah, thanks.
I call one after the other who please quickly, so that Dr. Madhu can hand over the certificates as well, and maybe.
Good evening. I just want to draw your attention to the bag that we gave you, the image on that. It's an elephant on it. I just want to bring your attention with one of the activities we are doing now, where we are running an ideathon that closes on 30th of this month. We are very serious into wildlife conservation besides what we do. What we want, this ideathon is about bringing technology solutions in wildlife conservation, whether it is AI or some kind of any kind of warning systems and things like that. Whatever people may have, it is in our website, all the details. Anybody who has how to prevent poaching or using acoustic methods to prevent any wildlife crimes, or how to reduce the wildlife, wildfires, or how to maintain digital fences to reduce human-animal conflict. These are the kind of things we put up there. And I'll really request you to spread it among your, group of friends. If they are interested in putting up, it is just an ideathon where we give some money to the best awardees. We have a lot of wildlife conservation people as judges for it. And we really want this kind of activity to go around because technology has gone up so much and it's important to use these things in, which is very important in wildlife conservation. We ourselves do a lot, but that is something more on a molecular biology. We try to come up with technologies where we prevent contamination in very, say for example, pashmina shawls. Pashmina is a very expensive shawl and then there's a lot of adulteration. We developed methods to prevent that kind of a thing. So I thought I'll just give you a flavor of things that we do so that, at least this one, if you can take it forward and ask people to participate, it will be a great help. But having said that, I thank each one of you for taking time and really encouraging us to do what we are doing. And 6 years ago when I started, I was a scientist for 30 years. And I feel very bad. I travel a lot in the world. We have something much deeper and much better. But somehow the process that needs is not very well established in this country. I'm sure you are all aware of it. And then the kind of metrics investors like you would look at life science startups should be different from what you look at other fintech and edtech and other kind of, startups. I really request, in that sense, the runway required for life science startups is a little longer. I'm sure you understand that. And the kind of companies that we have are, I can tell you from as a professional scientist, they are very good. But at the same time, as you know, some of them are not really, profiled or structured in a way that is more, but that may be more interesting. In that context, I really want you who have a lot of experience in looking at these startups from investment point of view, we want your help. Whether you call it pro bono, paid, I don't care, but really we want this ecosystem. I feel very bad being in Hyderabad. I'm sure all of you are Hyderabadis in one way or the other. I feel very sad because there is so much of industry, biotech industry in this city, but somehow the ecosystem hasn't developed to support the life science startups in this city. And I can tell you the kind of institute, I think Hyderabad has next to most number of central institutes in the country. And we are the top 5 producers of science knowledge in the world. But we are around 40 in terms of innovation. That is very sad that just because the ecosystem has to still mature in many ways. This is why the only reason why I started this Atal Incubation Center 6 years ago, to make tech translation much more, affordable for the startups. I know there are problems, but at the same time, all of us are here to solve those problems. I request all of you to take a personal interest, not only in our AAC, but there are at least half a dozen incubation centers in life sciences in Hyderabad. I want you to look at all of them and see how much we can support. It's very, very important. And if you don't do it now, we'll be just delaying our success to that much. So I request all of you to look at that. And I thank each one of you again for being with us, spending 3-4 hours of your time and really encouraging all of us. And thank you from my heart.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to MyStartuptv.